Hi everybody, take 10 is me, the chameleon girl Gina, and tonight I wanted to show you guys this recipe because it's real simple and it's easy, and if you like Cajun food and seafood and Creole food, whatever, then this is the recipe for you. And even if you don't like these things, it's a good recipe to experiment with because it's not extremely expensive, and on top of it, it takes under 30 minutes to prepare it. And what you will need for the etouffee recipe that I'm going to show you guys how to make tonight is going to be about 2 pounds of shrimp. And you want to make sure that you get look at that 2 pounds. Isn't that ridiculous, guys? 2 pounds, that's down to nothing. But what you will need, what you can do with the shrimp, is go ahead and cut them to bite-sized pieces, and that'll kind of, give you more value for your money. But I just didn't feel like doing all that, and I'm not cooking this etouffee for my entire family because it's going to be a little bit on the spicy side, and everybody in my house doesn't eat spicy food. The next thing that you'll need is some sausage. I did 2 packs. This is my first time trying the andouille smoked sausage by Johnsonville, but yeah, I did a whole pack of this. And then this is my favorite type of sausage, is Polish kielbasa. Usually I will use the Polish kielbasa and a pack of smoked sausage by Hillshire Farm. I really don't like to skimp on the sausage and use different brands or anything when I'm doing this recipe, or gumbo. I don't know, I just like that recipe. But I'm just trying out this Johnsonville, which is still a name brand. So anyway, the next thing that you'll need is a whole bell pepper, and you can even use 2 depending on how many people you'll feed. And then 1 whole onion, and you can use 2 onions if they're small, or 1 if it's a large onion. You will need some paprika. You will need some garlic powder. You will need a little bit of black pepper. And I like to use accent. You don't have to have it, but I prefer it, so that's my preference. And you will need some Creole seasoning and some parsley flakes. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who absolutely love the Old Bay, but Old Bay, I don't mean no harm, but Old Bay can't mess with this Cajun choice. Cajun choice is hard to find out here though, so there has been times when, I have to mess with the Old Bay. Cajun choice can't get with, Old Bay can't get with the Cajun choice. This is the very best for your gumbo, for the etouffee and different recipes that you're making that are like Creole Cajun style. Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started, and I will leave also the ingredients in the description box below, but there is going to be a heads up, the disclaimer or whatever. You have to season this according to your taste buds. This is one of those recipes where I can't tell you how much to put of what, because you may not be able to handle a lot of the spice that's going in here, or you may not like the accent, so don't put it in there. But you have to have a Cajun or a Creole seasoning. You do have to have that. And then you can work around. You notice that I didn't include any salt in this recipe, but there is a reason for that. It's because the Cajun seasoning, or Creole, that I'm using tonight, it already contains a lot of salt, so I doubt if I'll put any in there, but if I do, then I will let you guys know. But this is a 2-taste recipe. Take it easy on these seasonings because it'll get salty real quick. Now back here, I have a pot of rice that I have already cooked, And that's just regular minute rice that is actually already done. First things first that we're gonna do is we're gonna put some olive oil, and we're going to not use a whole lot, but you know, not skimp on it either. So we're just gonna coat the bottom of our pan. You do not have to use a pan like this. This is a recipe where it gives you a lot of flex. It's very, very flexible. And so anyway, I'm gonna heat up this pan. It's already heated, but I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. And the next thing that I'm going to do, or the first thing that I'm going to put in there, is probably going to be my sausage. Because what I like to do is let the flavor of my sausage kind of get married with the vegetables. So anyway, I'm going to just put the sausage in there. And I'm sorry that we don't have the sexy sizzle yet, but anyway, I had to stop and re-record 50 million times because my kids want to act up tonight, but it's okay. We're just going to pick up right here. And you're going to take all that sausage. Now you can use half of this amount of sausage. This much of the 2 pounds of shrimp and then the 2 packs of sausage, it's enough to feed probably a good 8 people. That's how much I'm making. So keep that in mind. So if you have a smaller family, then you can do less. But you want those sausage to be in there, and you want them to kind of be flat because you want them to sear a little bit. You know, just slightly. Now we sizzling. So now we're talking. That is my language. And then what I like to do is after I get those nice and flat to where they're covering the bottom of, whether I'm using a pot or I'm using a skillet like so. And if you don't have olive oil, then just get you some margarine and use that. If you don't have margarine, use some butter. You know, you're not restricted with this recipe, like it's going to come out all messed up if you do something a little bit different than what I'm saying. But you know, it's just so easy. You'll have it down packed after the first time of cooking it. So then the next thing that I like to do while that is getting seared, the sausage, I like to put my vegetables on top of it so the flavors start marrying. And you just want to have that all together. While it is, you know, searing and everything, what I wanted to mention that you'll also need is some flour and some water. And I will get to why you need that in just a moment. And like I said, this recipe, it would seem that it's like, oh my God, this is expensive and it's going to cost a fortune to make, but it's really not going to cost you that much to make it. The most expensive thing in the recipe is probably the shrimp, but my daughter got 2 pounds for $14. So I mean, maybe that is expensive to some people. I think it's a good bargain if you're going to be feeding. Just think about it. You could feed like 8 to 10 people off of that recipe. And so then we're just going to give that a little swig around. So see how pretty that looks? And you want to have this cooking at about medium heat or so. See, the sausage is already where you want it to be. you guys are learning this recipe, what I also want you to know is that my daughter, she's learning this recipe as well, which is, it's one of her favorite meals. So anyway, we're all kind of going to be learning together. Now, after everything kind of, you know, gets to where we want it to be, which is like a little seared, you know, and these vegetables we're looking for them to get a little bit brown. So I'm going to turn it up almost on a high heat right now, because I want this to be, I want to show you how fast this meal goes. How fast it is to make. It's just so fast. And so easy. Now, another thing is that you can use one pack of sausage and still make this will still feed about 8 to 10 people, okay? And I just use about, you know, a small box of rice, or, you know what I mean, however many cups, 2 cups to 4 cups of water, if you're going to make it like the raw rice or whatever it's called. I'm sorry, y'all. My nerves have been racked today, so pardon me. But I wanted to share it still with you guys. It just really, I'm the Grinch. So now at this point, what I want this on is about high heat. Now, what I'm going to do is take, and I'm going to pour a etsy bit of water in here, like this. That's not even 1/4 of a cup of water. But the reason why I'm going to do that is because I'm going to cover it for a few minutes. And if you guys notice something, I don't have my shrimp in there. Because you always put your shrimp in, I don't care what recipe you are making, you put them in last. But in the meantime, I'm going to put a little tenderizer on my shrimp, because the longer shrimp cook, they can get tough, or they could just be tough, like when you purchase them. So I'll be back with you guys in just a moment after we let this simmer down for about 3 to 5 minutes. So I wanted to show you guys where we're at with the cooking process. It has been about 3 minutes. Oh, excuse me, that's my coffee maker. So anyway, what I did was dropped like 2 teaspoons of water into this recipe here. I mean, not recipe, into the sausage and vegetable mixture, because I wanted to tenderize the vegetables, but I wanted still for us to have a little bit of the searing on them to make it delicious. Phones ringing, everything around here. So anyway, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some flour into about 2 cups of water. Oh, that coffee machine is loud. And so anyway, we're going to add about 2. So about 3, oops, made a mess anyway. About 2 spoonfuls of flour to 2 cups of water, okay? About 3 spoonfuls, 3 tablespoons. Add that to your water. And just take your time so you don't make a mess like me. And kind of just use your whisker. I don't know, I don't say this word right ever, okay? Is this a whisker or whisper? Somebody comment below what in the world this is the right way to say it or whatever. I know what it means though. It means to stir. And so anyway, I want this now to be on about a medium heat. So about 5. And I'm just going to slowly whisk that as I'm pouring it down into the mixture. Because I want it to be thickening up so that we can pour it over our rice. Now, some people do like to use cornstarch to thicken the recipe, but you know, and not everybody has the money for cornstarch and this, right? You know what I mean? So it's just do what you can afford, okay? I've always, my mom is 85 years old, and I have never seen her have to use cornstarch, not for gravies or anything. So bear with me and let me add about, I'm gonna get 2 more cups of water, and I'm gonna slowly determine how much I need to be in there. So now what we're gonna do is let that come up to a boil. And because we turned it in, or like we're getting thick and turning into a gravy. And as you guys can see that's a gravy. That's already turning into a gravy. And all the water that we put in there to soften up those vegetables had evaporated. So you see how thick that gravy is? Well, we know we don't want our gravy to be that thick. So we're going to add some more water. Just use that same cup. And we're going to add some more water. So 2 more cups, okay? Is what we're going to do. Now, you can also add an additional 2, would be a total of 6 cups, but also don't forget to start out with the first cup. You know, that's the cup that has your 3 to 4 or however many tablespoons of flour you're using. So anyway, we're gonna turn that temperature way up there. So we're gonna make sure that this is a 30-minute meal. So now I'm gonna take some Cajun choice. Now I don't measure, but for those of you who do, we're gonna start with approximately 2 teaspoons, excuse me. 2 teaspoons of Cajun choice, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and we're gonna give that a little mix. Make sure that we have that cooking pretty fast, so you know it's on high right now. And we may add some more water, so you want to have some more water handy. This is the garlic powder, so we're doing about a teaspoon and a half. So you see that going down in there. And keep some water nearby you because you want this to be thinner than a gravy, but thicker than a au jus, you know. So it's somewhere right in the middle. And what I'm looking at right now, this is about how thick that I would want it to be. So now at this point, it's up to you to go ahead and add in only about a half a teaspoon of pepper. About a half a teaspoon, because remember this Creole seasoning is spicy. Now close your eyes while I add in my accent, because I love accent, honey. So I'll be adding a whole lot. Anyway, I'm gonna add in about that much, and I want mine to be a little bit more red, rich colors. So then as we add our ingredients, we just kind of continue to stir. Now, Something else, guys, remember that your shrimp has salt in it. It's naturally salty. So don't, you know what I mean? Don't leave, you know, don't forget about the fact that that's gonna enhance that salty flavor. So it's time to add our shrimp in there. We're just gonna see how thick it is. Okay, so we're just right. Now, and then I did add a little bit of tenderizer on my shrimp. Tenderizer, something that maybe you guys should know, is also can be salty. I don't know why it's salty either, because this is the kind that I use is not the seasoned tenderizer. But anyway, I'm adding those to this because this meal, it's already done. It's done. Now watch how fast these shrimp cook. Let me just rinse my hands right quick. We're gonna push the shrimp down in there a little bit. And I just want this to, I'm not even probably gonna edit this out, how fast these cook. Cause I mean, it's probably a minute. You know, it probably takes about 1 minute. Some of you guys know all this, so I'm not trying to, you know, treat anybody like, oh, you don't know anything about cooking, but it's just, a lot of people don't. Now, I can look at this dish, and I can tell, because I'm not seeing the spices of the Creole seasoning, so I can tell that I need some more. Lot more. I'm gonna use this whole can on here. Because it was almost done. It's just a joke. Oh, that's done. Okay, we're done. We're gonna set that over there. Let's see. See those shrimp, guys? Already, I just dropped them in there. I think I want the color from the black pepper. So I'm going to put some black pepper in there, and in just a moment I'm going to have somebody taste test this for ya. Do you see the vegetables? They're nice and soft. So there's not going to be a lot of editing, except for probably the talking in this video, because that's just like that. This is under a 30-minute meal. Even if you include the time it takes to peel your shrimp, it's still under a 30-minute meal. Look back at it, guys. Look how good that looks. And you see that consistency? Oh, that's how you want it. You don't want it thick like a gravy. You don't want it thick like a gravy. But you want that shrimp flavor to go on in there. And the flavor of the sausage also, you know, got married with the bell pepper and the onion. So, I mean, this is some good eating right here. This is some good food. Good eating. If you like this kind of food, I'm telling you, you will love this recipe. And especially if you're last minute, don't know what to cook. It takes shrimp probably 5 minutes to unthaw if you do it at room temperature. With room temperature water instead of, never unthaw them in hot water. And just right at room temperature, so under medium. So a little bit warmer or more regular than medium. Now I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to taste this and see. That's good. And it's already salty, but I think I may want a little bit more of the Cajun spices in it. But we're gonna let my daughter taste it and look at the shrimp. But she's gonna tell me if she wants more spices in it or she'll just add some on top or what. But look at that. That may even serve 12 people if you really think about it. I think that this needs a little bit more Cajun or Creole seasoning in there. So I'm just gonna have this open and ready, depending on what she says, if it needs it. So we're gonna have her taste it. She's recording, so just bear with her. And we want to turn it way down now because we don't want that to get real thick. Because it's not one of those recipes where you want it all thick and stuff.
It needs more, just a little.
Okay. She said just a little bit more. I'd say this much. That's another half a teaspoon or a teaspoon. So in total, I would say 2.5 tablespoons for this much if you're gonna serve 12 people. 10 to 12 people, depending on how big their stomach is. Okay, so the last thing, guys, we're gonna do is we're going to fluff up the rice a little bit. You know, the usual. Just fluff up your rice. And then take, this is the way I plate it, you know what I mean, just to make it look pretty. I'm just gonna show you guys that. It's for my baby. And then you just take some of this here. And you just scoop that on there, make sure that you're getting everything, the sausage and the bell pepper and the shrimp. Get a little bit of that gravy going on. Let me wipe this bowl off, guys. Because I don't ever serve nobody no bowl with food running down the side of it. You know, do you ever just be on Facebook and it looks like the food, it looks so good, but then it's like juices and everything running up the side? Like, it just takes away from the food porn effect. And then I take some, this is what the parsley flakes are for. So I take some of those and I just drop those on there. Yum. So we're all set. And there we go. So, thank you guys for watching this recipe. I was stressed out while I was making making this dish. But anyway, I do thank you guys for watching and hanging in there with me. So if you haven't already done so, then I need for you to do me a big favor. Like, comment, share, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to my channel where you will see a variety of things happen in my life. Stay tuned.